World War I was actually awesome. I'm not kidding. And this isn't clickbait. Hello and welcome to Behind the Date. Today is August 18th and we're taking you back to 1920 because that's when women were finally granted the right to vote. Remember I started off by saying that the gruesome World War I was actually awesome? I said that because it helps improve the perception of women in society. Let me tell you exactly how that happened. Let's begin our journey with how women got the chance to participate beyond just household chores, how they fought for their right to vote, and finally, how they won it over. But before we get into that, make sure you like this video to let the YouTube algorithm know that this video is for everybody. During the First World War, women could neither vote nor be soldiers. No surprise there, sadly. But this war gave women a chance to do more than just sit at home and take care of their husbands. Since more men were off fighting, women stepped up to participate in jobs involving various industrial work and farming. As the saying goes, Rome wasn't built in a day, and neither was this. It was a tough fight, and there was lots of resistance. People wondered, can a woman really do what is seen as a man's job? But as compulsory enlistments began in 1916, the need for women workers shot up. Thousands of young girls signed up to join the American Red Cross, the Army, and the Navy Nurse Corps. The Women's Army Auxiliary Corps was formed in 1917 in Britain. Over 50,000 women joined in it to assist the armed forces in catering and administration. In the same year, the Women's Land Army was also formed, which allowed women to participate in 3 areas: agriculture, timber cutting, and forage. Women were also taking up the roles of translators, ambulance drivers, nurses, and doctors. And guess what? A few super brave women even fought right on the battlefield. So women joined the war, women worked regular jobs, women took care of households, and basically ran the world. But they still didn't qualify to vote. It's sad that people actually believed this was acceptable. And what was even sadder was that all the progress for them completely reversed as the war ended. And they were not happy, to say the least. The women's suffrage movement had been going on since the 1840s. It was a movement that focused on granting women the right to vote. But clearly the movement wasn't achieving what it was meant to. So Alice Paul, an American women's rights activist and leader, had to take matters into her own hands. In 1916, Alice Paul formed the National Women's Party, aka NWP. Many of them were constantly arrested, harassed, and pushed to their limits to stop. It's sad, but it also really shocks me how hard men tried to keep women down. Luckily, the whole political scene changed in 1917 when New York stepped up and gave women the right to vote. The next year, in 1918, President Wilson showed his support for the women's suffrage movement too. And so, in 1919, after over a century's struggle, the House of Representatives said yes to the 19th Amendment. The 19th Amendment prohibits the United States from denying any citizen the right to vote on the basis of sex. But it wasn't over yet. The 19th Amendment needed most states to agree to it. The final step was when Tennessee said yes on August 18, 1920, allowing the Amendment for Women's Right to Vote to pass. This was a monumental moment in history. It is only when countries and governments come together to make such decisions can the citizens see all genders as equal. But the fight didn't just end when women were granted the right to vote, and nor did the struggle. On paper, women and men are perceived as equal, but in reality, we're far from it. Nevertheless, celebrating our small wins is how we must move forward. With that, let us never miss a moment to celebrate and honor women. Celebrating women reminds me, did you folks do something special this National Girlfriend's Day? Oh my God, you didn't. Well, then make sure you check out this next video, but don't let your girlfriend see it. Otherwise, it's gonna get ugly for you. Before you go watch the next video, subscribe to Behind the Date for interesting stories from all over the world. Bye-bye. I'm off to go get a random just because gift for my girlfriend.